and hello. Welcome to another day of the Daily Octane. I had a good morning, I have to say. Did my weigh in this morning. I was 209.9 pounds. So I cracked the 210 barrier already, less than a week into this. Couple of things. I did find out that I probably am doing this a little wrong. I'm going to stick with what I'm doing for a few more days, but I'm probably going to incorporate quite a few more calories, because this morning I tried to, I had breakfast this morning. Did my bacon, eggs, and cheese again, and had a very hard time eating it. In fact, I didn't finish it. I probably only ate 3/4 of it, which means I did not take in enough calories. The last thing that I want to do is to get myself into a caloric deficit and have my body kick into its starvation mode. So I am going to go ahead and try to eat more, maybe several small meals during my eating window, rather than trying to gorge myself and get stuffed and not be able to finish. So much excitement that I reached a goal, getting under 210. My next goal obviously is going to be to get under 200 pounds. One of the things that I told myself was that if I crossed that 200-pound threshold, I would begin running again. Little background on me that I haven't talked about before. I am a former marathon runner. I have run 3 full marathons. I have run close to 27 half marathons. I've done a lot of running, and I'd like to get back to it again. At this time, I stopped running back the later part of last summer into the fall. I developed Achilles tendonitis with some calcification in my Achilles on my left foot, and I ran through it. I did the Marine Corps Marathon last October, ran that with pain throughout the whole run, but still pushed through it. Rested up afterward, tried to run a little bit more and then shut it right down, and I still had the Dopey Challenge down in Disney in January, in which luckily we had a rain out. Lightning strikes caused a cancellation of the half, but I still ran a 5K, a 10K, days rest, and then a full marathon on that 4th day. That was down in Disney. I have run, I think, a total of like 6 miles since that, and have otherwise shut my running down completely. I'm quite convinced that the weight that I was carrying produced some of the injuries. Prior to the Achilles, the previous year, I actually suffered through tibialis anterior tendonitis as well as peroneal tendonitis. Both kind of laid me up for a little bit. Nothing too dramatic. I still ran through both of them, but I used cortisone shots to get through both of those injuries. Since I stopped running, I'm injury-free. I've been paddling and cycling quite a bit with no pains, no injuries. So I think once I get the weight below 200 pounds, running again will be a good idea. What I wanted to talk about today, seeing as that today was an eat day, and I have felt fantastic all day. The one thing that I've been using, including this evening, as I'm halfway through my 36-hour fast, I use coffee. I don't know, for those of you that maybe have found me because you're also fasting, black coffee, nearly 0 calories, some minor calories if you drink a whole pot, but almost no calories, completely okay in fasting. So the things that you can consume fasting are bone broth, coffee, some teas, and water. I drink a lot of water when I'm fasting, but I also will consume coffee. Now there's some benefits to coffee that make it a really good idea. Now keep in mind, when I say coffee, we're talking about black coffee. No sugar, no added sweeteners, no cream for sure, just black coffee. And there are benefits. So obviously you have the caffeine benefit, you have elevated energy. So if you're feeling a little sluggish during your fast, that's going to give you some elevated energy. Also, black coffee in general, it's a natural appetite suppressant. So when you're drinking coffee, you're less likely to be hungry. Additionally, for those of you that are using a fasting protocol maybe to counteract type 2 diabetes, caffeine has been shown in studies, especially caffeine from coffee, has been shown in studies to aid in that aspect of reducing your type 2 diabetes. So, and there's other things as well. Long-term memory is improved, cognitive function of the brain is improved, You're at a lower risk for heart disease. Black coffee consumed daily lowers the risk of cavities because there's natural enzymes in coffee that make it wholly beneficial to the body. Now, like anything else, you can do it in excess. I drink nearly a pot of coffee a day. Probably not one of my healthier things I do. However, I love coffee. I drink an organic African bean coffee that is just to die for. I grind my own beans every morning, make a fresh pot of coffee. So being a coffee connoisseur, obviously I'm never going to remove coffee from my diet. If you do drink coffee, it's great for fasting. Don't stop drinking coffee when you're in a fast. If you're a tea drinker, black tea, green tea, I'm sure are both fine. But it's one of those things that it gives you something to put in your stomach, gives you something to hold on to get through those periods of time when the fast is tough. I guess we'll go ahead and here's today's video. This is my day 1, July 9th on the left. And then here today, July 13th on the right. I'm really starting to feel a difference. So even putting my clothes on this morning, my shirt fit looser, my belt wasn't tight enough. Also, one thing that, being a massage therapist, one thing that I use is a lotion holster. And I tie it off, so it's got kind of a fixed setting so it doesn't get loose. I don't have to feel like tightening it down. It was loose today when I put it on. So I'm noticing a difference in my waist already, which is a big, big, big bonus. So hopefully you're enjoying coming along on this ride. I do have some content, I promise, coming soon that is not going to be just me sitting in front of a camera talking. But I hope you're enjoying what you're watching. Please give me a like. Give me a comment if you have anything to say. What's your take on coffee? Are you a coffee drinker? Do you drink coffee while fasting? Do you think coffee is beneficial? And obviously, if you don't like my video, give me a down thumb, you know. But anyway, click like, click subscribe. Thank you again for watching the Daily Octane. I'll see you guys tomorrow.